up, let's just take those first 13 years. I'll talk about that. Um, it seems like when I think back and I remember, like as early as I can, which would be like 5 or 6, that would be like kindergarten or first grade.
Mhm.
I don't remember things being as bad as they got when I got older. Like
Mhm.
I remember my mom showing up for things like a school play or something like that. But I can remember when the way that I recognized how she treated not just me, but people in general. I probably remember that at about 7 or 8 years old. So it wasn't too long after I'd started school that I started to recognize things. The first time I recognized that when she said something when she said something to somebody, I knew you don't say that. That was wrong. That was hateful. That was certainly uncaring. But she had this sister who was my aunt, and that aunt was kind of like the black sheep of the family. I loved her. I loved everything about her. I loved her. But my mother had kind of ruined the relationships with her siblings, which I think was 6 of them altogether. But my aunt decided to come and see my mom one day, and it was 2 days after Christmas. And my aunt did not have a lot. You know, she didn't have a lot of money. She was probably a little bit poor, or if I should say that. But she bought my mother a gift, and I guess she couldn't afford the wrapping paper. She just put it in a kitchen napkin and kind of wrapped it up for her, which I thought was just the sweetest thing ever, actually. But she handed it to my mom when she got there, and the first thing out of my mother's mouth was, "Well, you didn't have any wrapping paper. You could have just left this at home." Just I remember standing at the front door and recognizing right then, oh, we don't. I don't think we should say that. I think that hurts my aunt's feelings.
Right.
But that's about the age I started recognizing that there was just something going on that I didn't like.
I remember being very, very little at a very young age, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, and recognizing what empathy felt like. I actually remember the moment. I was in the backseat of the car on the way home from church. My mom was in the passenger seat. My dad was driving. And my mother was up front just saying some of the most hurtful things about her sister, my aunt, who I adored back then and probably still do. If I was to see her today, it's probably been 20, 25 years. But I remember thinking to myself, well, that was hurtful. If my aunt would have heard that, that would have hurt her feelings. Empathy right there.